Hey guys, happy Thursday. We are now one day away from this big long break that I'm sure we all need in order to, I guess finish the hibernation period and all of this cold weather. Today's post is called The Long and Winding Road. Ask your parents, it's a Beatles song. Maybe your grandparents. Boy, maybe I'm showing my age here. Okay, so I just wanted to make sure that we're tying everything together here. There's been a lot of excitement over the course of the last 2 days that we've been reading, and most of it is kind of taking place, well, most of it is definitely taking place because of the war and because of all the things that need to happen. What with Father and Tim going off to sell the livestock so that they can stock up their store for the full next year. And this is really a task that is left to the adults, and Tim is being included in this, and Father has begun talking to him as an equal almost, which has seen Tim kind of live up to that expectation that his father has for him, that he needs to sort of now embody now that the family needs him so much. Because we saw yesterday that Father is gone now. Father has been kidnapped by these patriot cowboys, and Tim is left, and quite brilliantly, by the way, shakes the cowboys so much by lying to them and making them think that an escort was coming to shoot them down when no escort was coming at all, which was pretty brilliant. And we all agreed that, and I even agreed that we never would have thought about that, and that was a really, really brilliant thing for him to do in order to make sure that he preserved what would keep him and his mother alive should Father never be returned. And we know now that it's been round about 6 months since the last time we've seen Father, and he's still not back yet. So everybody's kind of getting into this mode where we go, all right, well, what has to be done has to be done. And we're seeing a major change in Tim's character. And I think it's important to note what I noted in class today, just in case you missed it. You know, we've been studying all year long this concept of how characters and who we are really influences what we do. And what we do influences the type of conflicts we get ourselves into, and those conflicts make us change what we have to do. And then that ultimately, when we resolve that conflict, allows us to take a step back, analyze some themes, come up with a main idea, and really we know author's purpose is linked in there. And as the main character changes, we realize that as readers, if we've been doing our job connecting, that the structure of stories is laid out so that we learn the same lessons that our main character is learning. Well, Tim is becoming a grown-up really a lot sooner than maybe he even thought. And it's important to pay attention to the changes that Tim is making, mostly because he has to. There's no choice. If he didn't make these changes and become really the man of the house, what would happen to him and his mother? Not good things, right? So while the two of them are kind of beaten down by this war, and they've been praying that the war ends, and they've been shaken by this so much, and there's so much extra work that they're even working on Sundays. And all of these things that were looked at as sins by them in the past, Mother and Tim are really agreeing, well, God will forgive us. God will forgive us because this has to be done. Our circumstances are too great. And that sort of got us into a conversation over yesterday and today where we were all asking the questions, well, but how could it be a sin if, you know, all of this stuff was happening and they had to do it to survive? And these are really great questions that you guys are asking, because you know that a colonial person in that time period would have the Christian Bible as their set of laws that they had to live by, so much so that they were even brought into the actual political American laws. And so it would be right at their forefront and dominating their thoughts about, does this make me a bad person? And that got us back into our conversation about what is good, what is bad, who are the good guys, who are the bad guys. Is there any such thing as good and bad, or good guys and bad guys? All of these lines are sort of blurring, and all of this stuff that people viewed as black and white, as this is right, this is wrong, this is good, this is bad, they don't really exist in wartime, especially, but they don't even really exist in the real world. We talked at the beginning when we say, well, what if a person is starving, the family is starving, and he steals a loaf of bread? And we talked about, well, what's right and what's wrong and what's not. And we realized that there are a lot of different circumstances that alter the way we think. And we're noticing that happening in Tim and in Susanna, remember, Tim's mom. And hopefully you are locking on to those changes because they are changes that the author has designed based on the conflicts and what they're causing the plot structure to look like and how they're causing the plot structure to change. Because remember, the only thing that changes plot structure is conflict. That's what's at the heart of this, and how we respond to conflict and how these characters are responding to conflict. So keep doing the work that you're doing. I am super proud of you guys. It's like all of a sudden the light turned on in a lot of your heads and you're saying, man, if I would just do the work and put in the effort, all of this stuff is going to become really clear to me and I can actually enjoy the class that I'm coming to. And guys, I couldn't be prouder of you for that because that's super important. It's a great step in your education. The more effort you put into your classes, the more you get out of them. And hopefully what you're starting to see is that you're able to connect, you're able to learn from these pieces of literature that were even written, 40 years ago. And I'm glad that you're doing this thinking, and I'm glad that you're doing this work. Please continue that. And I may or may not get to post tomorrow just because not all of the classes, I'm not going to see all the classes due to our assembly tomorrow. And so I don't know if I want to share stuff that's going on in the book. So I'm just going to go ahead and encourage you today, make sure you're catching up on your organizers or on anything in the packet that you haven't fully completed. Because when we come back, you're not going to have a lot of time between then and the end of the book to really flesh out our experience through this. And also, it'll be great for your grade as well, because when you turn in that unit packet at the end, even if you missed some stamps, which are going to wind up being our homework and classwork grade, you'll still be able to get the project grade of the entire completed packet, and it'll really boost your grade and give you a really great chance to succeed and not have to dig out from a hole at the end of the marking period like some of you had to do at the end of the last marking period. Again, I'm super proud of the work you're doing. I'm super impressed by the discussions you guys are having and that we're having as a class. And I want you to keep up that effort. It's really working out well for all of us. So if I don't talk to you tomorrow, or if I don't see you tomorrow, have a wonderful and safe break, please, okay? I'm actually going to be in Arizona for the break. And I'm going to take my iPad and maybe I'll be able to video just something here and there and share with you maybe some of the cool sights. I know I'm going hiking on some mountains while I'm down there, and so hopefully I can share that with you if I'm not too afraid of breaking the school's iPad in the middle of my hike. So again, safe break, great break. Catch up on your work if you need to. I know that Barnes & Noble has copies of the book, and I think they're on sale for like $4 or $5, which is like nothing. Your library has them if you want to be able to take them home. Again, I'm sorry that our resources are such that we don't have books that you can bring home that are the school's property, but if you can get your hands on them, or if you have a friend who bought one already or who took one out, get together with them, discuss the book, do all that stuff. Have a great time, be safe, and I'll see you when we get back.